Sorry I'm late, everyone. My son was in an accident, so I had to deal with that. He's fine now.
Good.
Yep, thank you. All right. We'll call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, if you take roll call.
All right, Mr. Braun.
Present.
Mr. Combs.
Present.
Ms. Nelson.
Present.
Ms. Reclue.
Present.
Mr. Simmons.
Here.
Mr. Stone.
Present.
Mr. Washington.
Present.
And Mr. West.
Here.
8 council members present.
All right, Pastor Williamson is here to do our invocation.
Let's pray together. Our Father in heaven, we begin with our fellow men in Ukraine. We ask you, Lord, tonight to continue to bless and encourage them as they fight for their homes, their families, and their freedom. That courage has inspired the world, Lord, and as we pray for them, we do so in light of knowing that you'll prevail and that your leadership, Lord, will continue to encourage those that are struggling day by day. In Texas and Oklahoma this afternoon, Lord, they had major storms and school buildings destroyed. And we're going to thank you, Lord, tonight first that minimal damage to life was experienced. I think one fatality, Lord, but the devastation reeks through both states. We ask you, Lord, to protect those in the line of that storm overnight and pray for our police officers and firefighters and first responders who will have to respond to the emergency calls from the folks in their jurisdictions. I also want to pray for police officers across America. Since we met last, we've had at least 8 incidents where police officers have been injured or killed in the line of duty. And firefighters as well in Indiana were hurt seriously in a building collapse from a fire. Lord, these men and women every day, and I will not cease to pray for them regularly, every day they walk into the line of harm and danger without considering their own safety to protect the people that are their neighbors, and we want to remember them tonight with love and gratitude. I'm thankful, Lord, for everyone who serves this wonderful community, our mayor and council persons, those that serve on boards and commissions and committees, all the department heads that lead our city's work, and Lord, those that come from the community to participate in the city's business. That makes us all better when the community, Lord, is participating. I pray, Lord, for the discussions held tonight, any decisions that are made, Lord, we pray that you'll honor them as you will and approval. We thank you for your love for us and ask you, Lord, to guide our steps each day. Until we meet again, we pray in Christ our Lord. Amen. Amen. Face the flag. Attention, salute, and pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor.
Privilege, sir. Privilege.
Okay, at this time, we allow comments from visitors. Anyone wishing to address the council can do so. Just step to the podium, give us your name and address, and limit your comments to 5 minutes or less. Seeing no one come forward, we'll move on. Next up, we have approval of the consent agenda. Council members may choose to remove an item for discussion prior to the approving of the agenda. Tonight, we have lots of items here. I'll run through them. City Council meeting minutes of February 22nd, 2022. Meeting minutes of February 26th. Meeting minutes of February afternoon minutes of 26th. The meeting minutes for February 28th. Meeting minutes of March 8th. Also, we have the approval of the Director of Administration report for February of 2022. The reappointment of Tim Wilkerson to the Fulton Housing Authority Commission for another 4-year term. And the appointment of Charles Williams to the Fulton Housing Authority Commission for a 4-year term. And I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the consent agenda is written. With the exception of G and H, I would like to remove them just for a quick question.
Okay.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
Oh, on G and H?
Yeah, go ahead.
My question is this: do we stagger Are those staggered dates when those are? We have 2 here now that are appointed. Are they staggered every 2 years or every year? Is there some coming and going?
There is some staggering. I can't tell you off the top of my head the difference if it's 1 or 2 years. And obviously, sometimes that will change depending upon if we have someone leave, if we give them, a full term, or if we have them finish out someone's term, but they are staggered.
Thank you.
Short answer.
And then how many total is there on that?
I believe 6.
Thank you.
yeah.
Mr. Mayor, when I was on the housing board, it was staggered. My term came up and had to be renewed through the mayor would ask if we would continue the service for additional. So
Yeah.
it's set up like that, John.
And it's been thankfully easy to fill. There's a lot of folks that are willing to volunteer their time for that, so I appreciate you doing that too, Mr. Washington.
That's all I had.
All right. Any other
Pretty quick.
questions? I'll call for the question. All those in favor say yes.
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 Opposed, no. Very good. Presentation and acceptance of the February financial report. Ms. Holzschlag, if you would.
There's really not a lot to report this month. It's been pretty much business as usual. We have recorded the first month of sales tax for 2022. The airport purchased a load of avgas. All of the utility funds, I believe, were in the black month to date. At the end of this month, just another few days, and I will obtain the claims incurred in '21, paid in '22 from our third-party administrator for the health fund, and accrue those back to '21. So that will change our health picture somewhat. It's usually about $75,000.
Kathy, how's the sales tax? It seems we still be on uptrend.
me too.
Where are we receiving more?
Well,
Are we
there's
about-
only 1 month. I don't think
Okay.
one month makes a trend,
Okay.
so.
All
It was comparable to what the first month of last year was.
Appreciate it, thank you.
But I usually don't start comparing till we're a couple
Up to 3.
months into the year, yeah. So I've got about 3 months.
I move for approval of the financial report for February.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions?
Kathy, under the general funds, the admin is 34%, 34.71 to the budget.
That happens every year, Councilman Braun. I think I mentioned it in January. That is because the payments to EOC, the chamber, payments we make to the county to collect our taxes are encumbrances that are posted in January. We may pay them 4 times a year, but that counts as an expense. So their expenses are always ahead of budget.
There wasn't anything unusual, that's what I was.
Yeah, it's not anything out of the way.
Very good. Any other questions? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
And opposed, no. Thank you.
Thank you.
Should I stay?
You should stay.
Oh, yeah. So next
Smart
up-
grid.
Yep, smart grid update. Carry on.
All right, I think I have some exciting news, and that is that we installed our new software for our handhelds. MVRS, which is the meter reading software that we had used for years and years. You know, we kept getting new versions, but we've been using it since I first came to the city. Is no longer providing support, so we went with a new software system, same type handhelds. But we are now able to electronically pull every route, and it will bring across the meters that can be read electronically. So we have electric deployed all the way across the system. Probably the first 13 routes also have gas. And we've got 6 or 7 with water. So once we've pulled a route electronically, it will load on the handheld only the meters that we don't have a read for. So much quicker for the meter readers. hopefully will cut down on manual reading errors. And I think that we're getting about 50% of the meters coming across, 45 to 50. So that is big news.
Was that a change in handhelds as well, or just the software?
Change in softwares. We ordered 2 new handhelds. We're not able to use them because, like everything else, we're waiting for something to come in that's out of stock. So we're using our old handhelds, but using the new software.
And it crossed over well?
Pardon?
It crossed over well?
Yes. Yeah, it was really a pretty seamless process. They sent someone here to train the members of the finance staff who pull the reads, load the handhelds, et cetera. They worked with the meter readers from the electric department, and they had individuals from the other utility funds to kind of get an idea of how it works. Yeah, so.
Kathy, just out of curiosity, you had mentioned how many routes you had for electric and gas and water. How many fall under all 3? Do we have, is it that 6 or 7 that we have underwater?
Yes, that are fully deployed.
That are fully
Yes,
deployed?
there's probably 7 routes that are fully deployed.
Okay.
But all the routes have the electric meters. And some have gas also,
Okay.
so.
Now, in saying that, and we took and robbed pieces from other routes when we was doing it a route at a time. So we've got some equipment ordered, some new meters and stuff like that. So if the council is happy, we probably won't do a smart grid update every month because we got to wait for some stuff to come in. So nothing's going to change very much. And with the supply chain issues, Kathy's going to be repeating herself, basically, is what I'm trying to say, until we get some stuff
I think
in.
the pieces that the piece that we are waiting on for the 2 new handhelds to be functional is expected in August.
Yeah.
So we'll
So,
get it about September.
November.
or November.
November, yeah.
The handhelds are basically for manual readings, though, it's not for the,
Correct.
right?
Exactly.
So,
But we
probably
can't
gonna-
pull everything electronically. Yeah.
Right.
I guess my suggestion, I agree with you not, continuing to do this at the meeting, but put something in the DOA report, still.
That's fine.
Still status quo or
Status
whatever.
quo. When we
I
start
can
getting
add
some
that
meters and
to-
stuff, we can
To the
Yeah.
finance report, I'll put a line on the
Right,
bottom.
just if something changes,
Yeah,
then.
we just didn't want to take you folks' time up with the same report every month until we get some
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Reasonable.
Yeah.
I think so too.
I will say that Daryl noted that this is the first time in a while that Kathy's been happy about smart
I
grid.
know, that's good news.
Well,
that's a-
this is a huge deal for my staff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
great.
huge deal, because it's been very frustrating for them to kind of do double duty, pull some routes electronically, then have to do the yeah,
We're all happy to hear it.
yeah. So this was good news.
I believe, I'm in agreement that we should leave it in your discretion when you should bring any updates that we
Okay.
need. And it's-
I'll put a note on the bottom just to kind of update you guys.
Appreciate it.
So it's only been, we start this in 2009, 13 years, and we're,
11.
Well, yeah,
yeah, we
August of 11 was the first electric meters were
2011.
deployed.
understand, but it was
Oh, we started talking about it
in
before.
2009 is when we voted it in to get
Right.
it.
That's right.
it was 11 when they knew it.
I forget what the program was now, but.
They probably had birds flying around back then, reading them.
Yeah.
We never dreamed what it would turn into, did we?
No.
That's for sure.
No.
Do you know how old that new software is? Do
Pardon?
you know how old that new software is? Like, not to us, but like, has it been around for a while?
No, it's pretty new.
So it's like brand new, okay. I just didn't know if like there's other opportunities to
Update, no.
update other softwares that we're using.
No,
that make
because
the
I
job
talked to
easier.
the trainer about it, who
Yeah.
is, he's a pretty sharp guy.
Yeah, we got lucky. The guy they sent was good.
And he's worked with us before, so he was familiar with our system.
That's great.
You had about
But yeah, I
2012.
think we're about at the peak of where you can get right now.
Sure,
Now,
sure.
that doesn't say a year from now, there won't be something bigger and better.
No, I was just meaning like, has this one been around for a while where you guys could have been using it for the last couple of years and made your job easier, but we don't regular evaluate software.
Yeah, no, they've just come out with it.
All right, thanks very much. I appreciate that. Next up, Clay will give us an update on Legends Replex. How are we doing?
I'm doing good. Doing good. February revenue was down a little bit compared to January. I think a lot of that was due to the short month. The weather hurt us pretty good. We closed early a few days because of the weather. It definitely hurt us in the daily visits and those fees. But memberships are continuing to go up, even into March. They're still getting a lot of new memberships. We had 4,300 visitors in February, and when I left there today, the parking lot was packed. Lots of activities going on tonight. So things are going good. We're starting to add more and more programs. Our spring and summer program guide came out last week, so you guys have a copy of that. We're going to be adding more programs than just what's in that book. We needed to get something out of schedule for spring and summer, but even today we were throwing around some ideas for new programs. So a lot of new stuff going to be coming up. Our online registration is going well. I think in the last 3 or 4 weeks we've had about 140 people sign up for programs online. So I think people really appreciate that convenience. Facility rentals are going good. We're seeing a lot of use out of the turf area and the batting cages. I think we have 7 or 8 youth teams that are using it, and Westminster softball's been in there using it, and Westminster baseball comes in there and uses it. So getting a lot of use out of that area. And that's about it. Like I said, we're struggling a little bit still with the HVAC unit. I think in the last week or so, we've really got a lot more attention on that, and we got some people helping us, so hopefully we'll get that figured out. And then we're fighting a Wi-Fi issue a little bit too, but hopefully we can get that straightened out fairly soon. Any questions?
Clay, can you tell me under, you have where it says total visitors and then down 4 lines, the 4th and the 5th line. Current membership is up 72 at 462,
Yep.
but current total membership is 1,040. What's the difference?
Memberships are the memberships that we've sold. Members are how many people encompass those memberships. So a family of 4 is 4 members.
Okay.
So basically, every single individual is a member that can come in there. Memberships is how many we've sold.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Can people pick these up at their Replex?
They can, yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll have some here at City Hall also.
City Hall has it,
So,
too.
Perfect. I think that these are really nice. I think it's a nice way for people to be able to see everything that's coming up, and I didn't even know this was a thing.
Well, we did it for many, many years, and then I think during the COVID period, we got away from it just a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we were having less programs, we weren't sure of what programs were going to be canceled and things like that. So we're back to it. We put one out in the spring and summer, and then we do a fall and winter one.
Yeah.
And I think people like it, especially you can look at the back. It's a quick reference to the schedule and the registration deadlines and things like that.
I think it's great, with
Thank
the
you.
exception of the orange.
I love the orange.
I love the orange.
Well, we lean towards blue and orange a little bit on things.
I like the size. This is a
Clay,
good
do you
size.
think it'll stay this size, or do
Yeah, I
you
love
think
the
you'll
size.
go back to the full booklet, or?
That
I like
size,
this.
that size saves us money.
I like
when
this.
we-
I
when we
I
like
take
like
it.
this
this
size.
I think this size is a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It
a
is
little,
much better.
little handier. You can kind of,
Very good.
Easier to stick in your purse.
yeah, stick in your purse. You know, people like it. The other size was a full booklet size, and
Yeah, it's bigger.
it was
Clay,
just-
is the picture in the front, is it one of our kids?
Yeah.
it is a Fulton kid, yeah,
The Fulton kids?
yeah,
Thank you.
All right.
yeah,
That's great.
Yeah, it's always a local.
yeah. We have lots of pictures that we can pull from, so it's we try to keep it
That's great.
local.
And then
Clay-
just to point out too, it is available on the website. In case you don't have a paper copy in front of you, there's a digital on the
correct.
website as well.
That's correct.
I heard that recently that you had blacklight bingo or something.
No, we were going to have bingo.
Okay.
An internship was working on that program for us. We kind of jumped the gun getting it out. I don't think we can get all the licenses and
Okay.
follow all the regulations. So we're kind of changing it to a game night and going to do a little something different with it.
Okay, I thought it had already passed, so.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
just,
that's what I thought.
yeah, I don't think, legally, I don't think it's something we can do. So,
While you have the mic, would you like to plug for coaches? Aren't you needing some coaches for this
Oh, yeah.
summer and spring?
we do. We got baseball, softball coming up and starting practice in May. They'll play June and July. We need volunteer coaches, we need umpires. We need anybody that wants to help, so,
That's on page 14, all the employment, and
yeah.
right below the St. Louis Cardinals trip. It's going to be on April 29th. Wish I could go, I had to work.
Yeah, I know parents are awful busy right, always, but they need to get involved and try to help out.
Definitely.
I noticed on here too, for the baseball and softball, are you separating the teams? It says girls, boys. I know last year whenever we played, it was everybody together. Is that different?
We separate them for baseball. Soccer is a co-ed.
Okay.
Flag football is co-ed, and our youth kickball is co-ed. For baseball, for boys, we offer baseball. For girls, we offer softball.
Okay.
That includes all the way down to T-ball, right?
Yeah, T-ball, yeah. T-ball all the way up to 14 years old. We have a little bit of trouble getting the older kids because they move on to different things, and a lot of traveling teams in the area that are picking up the older kids. But we try to fill all the ages that we can. Sometimes we mix the ages up to make the leagues work and things like that. But we usually get a good turnout. I mean, we've been as high as 500 players in the league, counting boys and girls. We've dropped off a little bit because of COVID and things like that. We were down around 300, but still had good leagues.
Clay, do you still feel pretty confident on making your budgeted revenue number?
I do. We got to keep pushing. We got to keep pushing. Got to keep offering things. And again, we had a half a year. I don't know if that's a good thing to look back on. I think we really need a full year to look at it and see.
Well, it's on a decent pace at this point with 2 months. So.
It is. And I'd like to see it higher, but, like I said, we just got to keep pushing, offering things, putting those opportunities out there. Some of our programs have been really popular. Some of them, it's just kind of hit and miss. And we take that approach with all our programs. We'll put it out there, and we'll see what people like.
But maybe some special events, like, I think, was there going to be a father-daughter dance or something? Or?
We did have a father-daughter dance in February.
How'd that go?
Good. I forget I think we were around 150, 160.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I think that went well. I think the mothers felt left out, so now we're doing a mother-son activity. So we'll be doing that in the next month or two. I think that's also in your.
But you do things like that, those special events, and that brings people in.
Oh, sure.
And it gives them a chance to see what it's like if they haven't been in there before.
Definitely.
And
Definitely. And we're looking at things like
Different revenue.
concerts and things like that. So, as much as we can get in there.
Right.
Well, one of the incidental benefits is we are going to get to have the employee picnic there at the Replex this year. So that'll be nice to be able to support our staff a little bit more. There's a lot better facility to put that on and also have a little bit more fun.
We've had some retirement receptions there. And
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and also the mayor's prayer breakfast is going to be there this year. That'll be May 5th.
May 5th.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate that.
Clay, also, I know you mentioned about softball and baseball. Is there any type of training for coaches? And, it used to be in the past, they brought in somebody to work with coaches and the players had an opportunity to go and how to field the ball, how to throwing techniques and things like that. Is there like a day or a couple of days that training that could be for new coaches, as far as teaching the proper techniques and batting? And because a lot of these volunteer coaches, there's some parent that just got drafted into saying, hey, we need you to do it. But I think providing some training for our coaches and possibly, just a day or a couple of days that you can do it for different age groups. Is that something on the list probably in
Yeah,
the future?
it is. We've done several in the past,
Okay.
player clinics, coaches clinics during that month of May, usually, once teams are selected. And then we've had varying turnout. Sometimes we'll get a real good turnout, sometimes we won't. When we try to do some training with our umpires and referees, make sure they know what they're doing.
We got the facilities now.
We
You can use
do,
it.
we do. We've got good facilities, we can bring people in. Again, a lot of it's just finding the people. That's what we're kind of struggling with a little bit. We're trying to find fitness instructors. We're trying to find good people that can lead these programs. With us being a small town, that's a challenge a little bit. So we kind of need to reach out to the bigger cities and see if we can get some.
And from my understanding, we've been touching bases with some of these colleges.
We have, yes.
Athletes, having them to come in for training and stuff.
Correct.
I think we're doing
Yeah.
something with the volleyball.
Yeah, lots of conversations going on with having summer camps and clinics and things like that. Because
Awesome.
we do have 2 colleges here. You got good coaches at the college level. You got good athletes at the college level. A lot of those college students are going on to be teachers, so it's an opportunity for them. And like I said, we currently have 2 interns. They're doing real well, so they're helping out quite a bit.
I know, remembering back when I was doing that stuff, I would go and watch YouTube videos on, coaching kids up, and that helped me tremendously to know what to do, give me the confidence to try to handle some of that stuff. And is there a way we could add some links to the website to that type of thing?
We could, and we have some instructional videos that were made for coaches and things like that. They're on
Might
DVD,
help,
but they could probably be converted. Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of coaches do that nowadays. They just get on there and they find drills and things like that. And we do. When we go through the coaches meeting and stuff, we provide them with how to run a practice, some drills and things like that they can use for practice as well.
It's not rocket science. You just have to have that caring enough to spend the time.
That's right.
Anybody can do it.
That's
Who
right.
has a heart to do it.
I used to coach youth ball, and I wasn't a good player, but I could coach them,
Yeah.
But that was before YouTube, so, I don't, kind of on my own.
Yeah, it's never a bad thing to try to do that stuff and help out.
Absolutely.
Very good. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, new business. Gary Vaught's here on behalf of the Brick District to present our request for permission for the annual Morels and Microbrews event to be held Saturday, May 7th. Tell us what's happening with that.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, Mr. Dunlap, and ladies and gentlemen of the council. This is 10 years I've been coming here. Some of you guys were here 10 years ago, some of you weren't. So I'm going to do a little bit of a brief what the Brick District does real quick. Because that's our only, the Brick District has only one thing, that's our only way we make money downtown. We don't have dues for the people on the board. The people that can be on the board is anybody who has a business or a building or anything in the downtown. You could even live, you can be a resident and come to our board meetings. So just know that this is open to everybody. The things we have done with the Brick District, $15,000 I think was accorded. We gave to the theater because we know that's a great big awesome thing to have in our community. Also, businesses that we were recruiting or helping come in. I don't remember, what is it, Create Uncommon, bought the Blattner building. They had a bad roof situation, and they couldn't come to a conclusion at that time how they were going to get with the real estate and how they were going to buy it. Well, there were about $14,000 difference. Brick District came in and do it because there was 10 to 15 full-time jobs that came, plus the building was going to be fixed up. So these are the things we do. Just know that the money does go back into the Brick District and to anybody who's down here to increase everything that we have going to Brick, which is awesome. I think everything that we have. I grew up around here, went to New Bloomfield, and I love this downtown. Going back to that, I just want to I don't know if you knew what we do with the money. So the money that stays there and beautification of our downtown. So I'm here to ask for our 10th year. Cheers to 10 years is what it is. One more year of Morels and Microbrew. It's going to be May 7th. We're not increasing our footprint. I have talked to Chief Kofelt from the fire department. He is well aware. Seen him when we were cutting our hair today. Also talked to Chief Ladwood as well as the police department, as he's new to that, but he knows all about it, and he is aware of what we're wanting and what, we don't really want much. I just asked for a couple officers to walk through just to make sure everybody knows it, you know, to be good. We've never had any problems at this, even though there is alcohol, but we shut it down at 4 o'clock. It's only one thing, and then it's over with. So far, knock on wood, everything's been really, really, really well attended, and I think we have a good clientele that comes to it. Like I said, the footprint doesn't change any. Court Street will be shut down up by the Playhouse on down to the intersection of Fifth Street by the courthouse. We have asked that's the first day of the farmer's market, and you all know that that's right in front of the courthouse. We're asking for a little bit more room from them so we can do the fresh morels right there, part of kind of the whole farmer's market situation. So that's all been accounted for. Food court will be on as well on the Fifth Street run, kind of toward where the Clap building is and down that area. I think the only thing that I would ask if I could do this year that we've never asked before is maybe a dumpster, because we've seen that our facilities, and we can put it anywhere, because I'm going to bring in something to carry all of it out. But it seems like we have more trash than we have receptacles, and I just want to make sure it's good and cleaned up, and we'll make sure that it's all in a dumpster. So we're willing to pay for that and all that. I'm just asking if we can have that brought in the day before, so, and find a spot for it that would fit properly. Another thing, I think we ought to have the canine dogs too. I didn't get to see the presentation, but it looked pretty cool from the vestibule. I guess if there's any questions for some of the new members here that they have for me, I'm hoping I can answer them all correctly. I'm trying to go down, but it's really kind of status quo to what we've done before. We're going to have more people come this year. We had COVID restrictions last year, so we were down to 750 people we only allowed into. This year we increased that up to 1,250. We think that we will never go any higher than that. We want to make this where everybody enjoys it. There's never no lines, and kind of inclusive. You know, if you don't get your tickets, you just don't get to come. And keep in mind, this festival is free to everybody, except for the part where you drink alcohol. Of course, we have to control that, and that's your 1,250 tickets. You don't have to have a ticket to come watch the great band that we have. The K Brothers will be back, Stompgrass. We also have all the morels, the morel frying, and the food trucks and all the other entertainment that will be downtown. That is all free. So other than that, do I have any questions from City Council? Wow, okay.
Well, I'd just like to say, I went to the first meeting they had of the Brick District.
Yes.
There were 3 people or 4 of us, and it has grown. Thank you for continuing.
Oh, well, thank you. You know, I remember when I came up with this idea, and it was a bad idea, we thought at the time, but I thought, it'll be fun.
Yep.
And it was a great time for me, because it was just basically a party I had for myself. We had like 10 or 15. We had some morels. We fried them up. And we had a lot of people come downtown. Yeah. 2 or 3 years later, it got bigger. And it's not near as fun for me anymore. But you know what? Looking back on it, it's awesome when you look at all the people that have a good time. And if you really watched our Facebook and all of our what happens in the state of Missouri, what people have said, and we've gotten written up in the rural Missouri, one of the best. We have so many write-ups about this without us even trying, because we're not trying, because you could get overwhelmed. I don't know if you've ever been to the Pumpkin Festival, but you can't even get to it now because there's just so many people, and we want to keep it, we want to be awesome, but we want to keep it down because we don't want it to be something that ruins. So that's why we're going to just always cap it at $12.50 on that deal. So that's the way it's going to be. Yes, sir.
CVS drive-through pharmacy,
Yes, sir.
do we have accommodations for that?
Every year we go up there, and every year we do accommodate them. They do want to maintain that. They quit at noon. What we do is we maintain that area for they have the drive-through to come back out and come right back around out. Do you understand? That's hard for me if you know the map.
Yeah.
So we're going to leave those. There's 2 parking spots in front of CV's in front of the pharmacy. And then they have we're going to have an opening, and we're going to put cones, and we're going to drive, and we'll direct people right back out to the street. And once noon comes, they'll be shut down, and we can kind of resume as needed. And then, of course, 4 o'clock, we shut everything down.
Thank you very
The other thing is we'll have everybody come in, get the tents down. We'll try to come back to Fulton looks exactly the way it did right after the festival. We try to make it look like nothing ever came, except for the full dumpsters or the roll carts are like really full, and I'm pretty embarrassed. So this year I would like to try to take the aluminum cans and pull them off, donate that, get that out to Kingdom Projects, and get the beer cans out of it. That's really hard to do because it's just kind of a mad, chaotic thing. But I think I have more resources as far as volunteers to take those aluminum, get them off to the side so we don't have as much dumpster problem. That's the thing that has happened is just volunteers. But I think this year we've kind of looked in and accommodating that. And therefore we can get the aluminum and just take it out to Kingdom Projects and just give it to them. Every year we learn more. Believe me. We also learn to just kind of keep it small and simple. And that's the thing, simplicity. Hey, Mike.
Hi, Gary. So you mentioned the farmer's market. Are they going to be open until 4 o'clock that day?
No, they're always only open till noon. Now, there might be a few things because of the festivities. There might be a few that they said they might stick around and keep their booth open for that reason, and we just welcome that. It's just another thing for them to come to. That time of year, the farmers, we don't really have a lot come May 7th. There'll be lettuces and some of your cold weather vegetables. To me, foraging for morels and our farming thing, it all kind of coincides and goes so well together. And we want to make sure that they're well seen and they're there. So stage will be right down there as well. So that's where we'll put the main stage, is right there in the intersection. We have figured it out. The previous chief knows. Chief Ladwick, you remember how we set up, right? Kind of how we get it all set up and get people around, but we basically shut down right there. Yep, and because we don't want any cars moving because we're going to have people moving.
I like how you're trying to keep the numbers down, kind of keep it intimate. That's, that's
I don't,
great.
you know what, we come to the conclusion we don't want it to grow anymore. And we want it to be, it's awesome to have our own little deal, but we want to invite people to come into our town, but we just don't want it to become something that's so overwhelming, none of us want to go, and none of us want to do, because, it's already a lot of work, and it's a lot of work, and if it gets to the point where we just don't want to do it anymore if you got that many people. And so we figured, hey, it's only 4 hours. We keep saying that every year, and we're like, ugh. And then when it's all over, we're like, that was let's never do this again. And then as a month later, we're talking about doing it again.
Y'all are so the least selfish group I think there is out there, because you do all this and you put it back into your community.
I feel that.
It's hard to say no to stuff.
Well, I'm glad that you see that, and I wanted you to know that this, it's like planting a tree. I'm not going to enjoy that tree. People ahead of us will enjoy that tree much more, and that's the thought that goes in my head. And I think about my kid who's now already 16. So, he came along about the same time Bex did, and so all this has happened, and I think about it for my kids and all his friends and kids after that.
Yep. I know you're sincere when you say that, too.
I really do. I mean that.
So
Motion to approve Marilla microbrews is written.
Second?
Motion on the second. Any other discussion?
I think we
Yes.
should give them the dumpsters.
Yeah, can we get them the
Yeah,
dumpsters?
I think we should, however many dumpsters they need, I think we should.
I probably don't need, but maybe, we'll have the roll carts down there as well to kind of keep.
Yeah.
But I don't think I need but one, and I'm gonna, this year, how you have the side-by-side, last year, we don't want that because it's just gonna be more traffic thing. This year, we're gonna take the side-by-side and load it up and take it around and put it somewhere it can be easily disposed of for the city. And I do believe and like I said, I think it'll be much better this year, just because if we get rid of all the aluminum and get it crushed and to get it into another facility and give that to, and just deliver that out to Kingdom Projects for them. And then I think our trash, it's just down to a few cardboard that holds the barriers. I'm hoping just to try to, it just seemed like so much trash before, and I think I could fix that.
Do we need to get a couple of the recycling carts with the aluminum, or?
I think I can do that for us, and so you don't have to bring that in. I think I'm going to go ahead and just try to get it done and then crush it and then bring it out and take it out there to them. That'd be awesome, but I just don't. I hate to utilize the cities too much.
No.
been so good.
I personally don't look at it that way. You're bringing people in.
Well-
You're giving them something to do, a good time to have. It's not, you're not.
Well, if we can
asking that
find
much.
a proper spot in the area that would fit, I can come back and talk to someone about that. That would be great.
Talk to Robert.
Mr. Boone.
Robert's the man.
He's been taking
Robert's
notes
the
since
guy.
he's been taking notes since you mentioned it, Gary. so-
Robert's the guy.
But truly, if there's any questions, and that even goes with the Brick District, you know that what we're doing down at the Brick District, the mayor showed up last meeting, and it's pretty informal, and we try to kind of get to business, get to stuff through. But we have a good bunch of people down there, and I see new things coming. I see another building that had boards on it. I was so, oh man, this is terrible. But now there's a big roll-off out there, and they're fixing it up. So that means the places that we thought were bad are getting fixed up. So it's our Brick District is really in better shape than a lot of these small rural towns that you've seen, and I think we're going into better positions.
You're revitalizing the downtown area, and that's
It's
very
beautiful
key.
downtown.
Yeah.
Really is.
Councilman Braun and Councilman West, are you okay with your motion including the dumpsters?
Yes.
Okay, all right, perfect.
Whatever.
So we'll include that.
Okay.
I'm good
Gary?
with whatever he needs.
I apologize.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I'm finished.
First of all, I want to compliment you on what you're doing for the community and bringing festivities, things here.
Thank you, Bob.
And that's great. The only side that I'm concerned about is the alcohol.
I do
That's
un-
that been in the past, but I like what you're doing.
Bob, I understand that. You know what, and you know, any of your feelings, and I understand. And you know what, and we walk, I watched my kid get in the car one day, and he gives a check, he has a shirt on, and it says Morels and Microbrew. I didn't think nothing about it, and then he goes to school, and I'm like, oh, God.
Right.
So the same things that go through your head, because it says Morels and Microbrew, there's a thing that says alcohol, and I don't want my child promoting alcohol at a 15-year-old. And so I do have those same concerns, and I have the concerns, and I talked to the chief about it today. I've seen one incident one time where I seen somebody, and it was so quietly done, and the police officers dealt with it, no one even seen it. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's so awesome to see people come, do the things they're doing, and not do stupid stuff, and they leave. And so far it's been great. And as soon as I say that, there's always a bad apple. I pray that it's not going to happen. And I do, and Bob, I do understand your concerns. Truly do.
Yeah.
One other thing while we're talking about the Brick District, shortly you'll see some banners go up. Westminster and William Woods bought banners, I think 20 apiece. And then the Brick District, there will be a smaller banner below the big banner that says Brick District.
That's
and
awesome.
We talked about that today. And
It was great. That's another thing of us kind of working great with the city. I had no idea they had this awesome sign thing. I'm going to come later on and say, could I have a sign that says? But right now I won't ask no more.
There's always opportunities to do fun things, and
Well, I think.
you all always have skin in the game. You always make the effort, so it makes it easier for us to help.
Well, you know how cool it is to see, and you look on Missouri Life, and they write a big write-up about Morels and Microbrew, and you think, I never would have thought. And now, but it also holds, it's got to be better. It's kind of, so we're there to make it better, and I'm going to work hard to make sure it will be.
I just have to learn to like mushrooms. I hate them.
Oh,
You know what? I thought you could fry anything and taste good. Come on.
Right. Enough ketchup on it, I might do it. Enough
Wrap it in-
microbrews, yeah.
Wrap it in bacon, maybe.
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Thank you, Gary. Appreciate
Thank you,
that.
Bob.
Yeah.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no.
No.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
thanks, Gary.
Thanks for all you do.
You too, sir.
All right, next up, Tamara Tatishan's here, Executive Director of Callaway Chamber of Commerce, to present our quarterly update. Hello, Tamara.
Had to go after Gary, who's pretty tall. Good evening. So I'm going to give the little plug because you can get online and get your tickets to Morels and Microbrews. And if you want to volunteer, you can sign up for that. My first year, I was a beer slinger. in 2016, and that's how I got really acclimated to this community, but it was kind of fun and to see all the people, so. Anyway, I am here tonight to give my quarterly report for the Calloway Chamber of Commerce and the Fulton Area Development Foundation. I clicked the button and it didn't go. Okay. So just as a reminder, we really focus on our strategic plan. We have 6 buckets that we focus on, and all of our work is focused on these things. Economic development, workforce development, advanced business excellence through education, supporting our entrepreneurs, financial sustainability and maximizing operations, and then delivering value to our members. Quickly, I just wanted to review what we did in 2021, and that was we worked 30 economic development projects, 25 with Missouri Partnership, and 5 of them were non-traditional projects. As Daryl will tell you, these projects, a lot of times we get them and we have a very, very short turnaround on the projects. Sometimes they're 24 hours, and Daryl has been great the last year to really help me with these, because getting these projects turned in on time, Missouri Partnership actually brags on us because we get ours in on time, so that's fantastic. We coached and counseled 50 small businesses. This was from May of 2021 until December of 2021, which is fantastic. And that's anywhere from helping them start up a business, maybe they just have a business idea, or they may need assistance with certifications, some classes, anything like that, we can help them. So there's been 50 small businesses that we worked with, and then we held 93 events during 2021. So what's new in 2022? Well, first of all, I want to talk about streamlining our workforce. And that is what I would say complete with our recent new hire of our Workforce Development and Training Coordinator, Megan. So I want to give you each person's bucket that they're going to focus on. So, so we can all stay in our own lanes and assist one another, but we have our main focus that we'll be working on. So I'll be working strictly on our economic development for our industry, retail, and restaurants, our financial sustainability and maximizing our operations, also our daily operations, and then our staff management. Then we have Brianna Clathermis, and she is our small business liaison. She is working on supporting our entrepreneurs and advanced business excellence through education, and this is for K through 12 and working with the colleges. Some of the things that she's doing is, and these are just some examples, coffee and cream, small business mastery, our pitch competition, a collegiate pitch competition, and classroom discussions at the high schools and at the colleges. Then we have Amy Books, and she is our marketing and special events coordinator. She'll be focusing strictly on delivering value to our members, coordinating all of our events, and remember I said we had 93 of those last year, maintaining our website, our community profile, and our membership directory, our newsletter, our chamber ambassadors, ribbon cuttings, and groundbreakings. Then we have Megan Kemker, and she is our new workforce development and training coordinator. She is going to focus on workforce development and also the advanced business excellence through education. Some of the things she's going to be doing is working with the business on their workforce needs. So she's been there since March 3rd. She's meeting with the businesses in our community, having those conversations. Some of them just need help even writing job descriptions, handbooks for their staff, things like that. So we're identifying those things that our businesses need. Developing relationships with our K through 12 and our colleges. She's doing a job fair, assisting with MOAMP and our partnership with State Tech, and then working with our Missouri Job Center. And so all of these things are going to take some time because we have to develop those interjections and relationships. And so she's been hitting the ground running pretty fast. Today she toured Dollar General and Dan Huser, which are two of our biggest companies here in our community. And then we have Linda Nichols, and she is our part-time administrative assistant. She does all of our street banners, so if somebody needs a street banner, they come down and see Linda, and then she works to make sure that they have that reserved for the city of Fulton. She answers calls, and then she also assists with events. So what else are we doing? As I mentioned, we are doing some classes. Some of the classes we're doing is Coffee and Cream. That is for new businesses, and that's where they can interact, network, learn more about how to run their business. And then we have Small Business Mastery, and this is for businesses that already exist. So they're bringing in like commercial bankers so that they can understand what they need from commercial banker. Maybe they need QuickBook classes. So there's a whole realm of things that they're doing with those. And those classes, Coffee and Cream and the Small Business Mastery, will be held every month. We have a one-year professional development class that's going on right now. We have 13 participants in this. It's being held every other month, and it's with Missouri Enterprise. They come to the chamber, they have 4 hours worth of class, kind of get some homework assignments. They leave, they have the 2 months to do their homework, then they come back, they review those, and then they go on to another topic. So there's 6 specific topics. We have a new collegiate pitch competition that will have Westminster and William Woods students. That's happening in April, so we're excited about this. We will have not only Westminster and William Woods, but Lincoln University as well. Lincoln University is actually putting up the prize money. They have drawn names to see who gets to hold it the first year, so it'll be at Lincoln this year. Next year, it'll either be at Westminster or William Woods. So we're just kind of gathering in those partnerships. She's already got 5 or 6 that are participating in this pitch competition, so I'm excited to see what these college students bring. And then we're having a job fair, and this will be independent from our regular business expo. You can plan to see 2 job fairs this year. Our job fair is scheduled for May 17th at Calloway Electric Cooperative from 2 to 6 p.m. We decided to do it in the afternoon so we could give people that if they were working and they wanted to come and see what was available in our community, they could. So some of our upcoming events, as always, we do our Calloway County Community Update. This is on the first Tuesday of every month. We do our Business After Hours, and that is on the first Tuesday of every month as well. Business Breakfast is our 3rd Wednesday of each month. Our job fair, again, May 17th at Callaway Electric Cooperative. Leadership Callaway Commencement will be on Thursday, May 12th, and we're planning on having that at the Playhouse this year. Our golf tournament is scheduled for Friday, June 10th at Tanglewood at 9 a.m. tee-off. A new member reception, this is where we celebrate our new members, and we have our chamber members that come to welcome them, and that's anybody that joined the chamber from June of 2021 to June of 2022, and that will be held on June 21st. Leadership Callaway class reveal will be in July. We are still determining that date, and then we have our Teachers Appreciation Breakfast that's scheduled for August 17th at 10:30 this year. And so it's going to be more of a teacher's appreciation brunch. The reason we're doing that is because we have a really dynamic speaker that is coming in, and that was the only time that he could come. His name is Jeremy Anderson. We've already secured him, and the teachers are really excited that he is going to be here to present to them. You know, people have asked me over and over again, why do you do this Teacher's Appreciation Breakfast? Well, we have to recognize these teachers and the work that they're doing. We also have to show them a lot of support, because if we don't, after this pandemic, all of us in this room may be teaching a class if we're not careful. So we need to make sure that we support our teachers in this education system. Next year, we're going to have a speaker. We've already secured him. His name is Jerry Brooks, and a lot of the teachers follow him on Facebook, on social media, as a principal in Kentucky. And I've watched him a couple of times. He's pretty comical. So we have some really good things coming for our teachers in the very near future. And that is all. It's the first of the year, but we have a lot of stuff going on. So any questions?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, so you talked about the colleges and some things you're doing with them. Are you doing anything with the business classes at the high school?
Yes, actually, I've spoke, and so has Brianna, spoke to some of the business classes. I assisted with the, judging the FBLA contest that they had recently,
Okay.
and it had to be held through Zoom. So yes, we do get into the classrooms.
Okay, good, good.
Thank you, Chairman. Excellent job. I think that we're going in the right direction. Also, the place, where are you thinking about having this gathering? Have you considered the Legend?
For the
teachers?
teachers'
Yeah,
appreciation? Well, we have about 450 teachers that usually attend that event. We invite about 650. We're thinking about holding it at William Woods this year in the auditorium. That way we have the chairs already set up, and it will be a little less set up for us. But we have considered Legends for a couple other things.
Thank you. The other question that I have is that I was talking to existing, you said the businesses here in town. There was one, Tractor Supply. And I don't know, have you been in communication with them at all?
No, I have not.
I would have to talk to an area supervisor. They have an incentive program for anyone that's interested, a scholarship program for anyone that are interested in coming working for them. And they have like a $5,000 scholarship, and that's somebody that you might want to reach out to.
I'll send Megan down there and have a conversation about that.
There you go. Thank you, that's it.
I would just say on the teacher appreciation breakfast that it really adds to the quality of life to have events like that in our community, because people come from all around and they talk about Fulton, and they talk about the teachers in Fulton. So I appreciate that very much, even though it may not seem like it's directly related to what you do, but it's really, it is.
This includes the whole county.
Yes. It will include all of the
All your teachers.
public schools in the county, both of the private schools, Missouri School for the Deaf, and we also include Westminster and William Woods teachers as well.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of people.
That's a lot of
So you
people.
get the Jefferson City schools that are around the Summit area too?
The ones that are in Holt Summit, we do invite them to attend. We include them.
Okay.
But we do not invite the ones in Jefferson City or in Columbia. Now,
Right.
in the last
That's
2 years, we have had lots of teachers from Columbia and Jeff City that have said, we want to come, we've heard about this, and, you know, it's not that we don't want them to be here, but, you know, our focus is the ones that we have right now on staff. If they want to come and work in Calloway County or in Fulton,
That's
they
right.
can move over
Come
here
to
and then
Calloway
be recognized in Teachers Appreciation. But, you know, last year, we, One Canoe Two gave away planners to all of the teachers. And, you know, when we met with the superintendents, they said, that's what our teachers want. They want things like that. So, you know, we learn something every year when we're planning this event, because we reflect on what we did last year, and then we try to make it better the coming years.
Right.
That's a lot more work if you're going to have another couple hundred people put that all together, huh?
Yeah.
It
I'm
already is a
thankful
ton
you
of
do
work.
that because I am not a teacher. I discovered that over COVID, and I'm not made to do that job. So
I
thank
get
you.
it. I get it. Me either. Not a daily basis, that's for sure. Any other questions? Okay.
Yes, one more. On the economic development kind of thing, is there things still hot, still anything coming down the pipeline that's possible? You don't have to, we can't know who or anything, but do we got something? I know, I heard on the news about the, I guess, what is it, in New Bloomfield, that people went to the meetings.
Solar
and-
project,
Solar
yes.
project, and that kind of thing, and there's questions if that's in the air and if they're going to have it or not. Is there anything in, far as near the Fulton area that, outside of that?
So we, you know, we have made application for these things through Missouri Partnership, 25 of them. And one of the things I would like to do in May or June timeframe is bring Sabash with, and he is the CEO of Missouri Partnership, to do a presentation for the council and my chamber board of directors. He came in January for Leadership Calloway on Economic Development Day, and I did some things different for that day than I have done in the past, and I'm really glad that I did. The presentation that he gave was, you know, I know what he was saying. I knew it in my mind, but it was great to see it on the screen. He talked about that, you know, for example, if they've made application for 500 projects from 2016 to 2020, that they had lost like 125 of them, and you go, oh, well, they got a lot of projects that they won. But that's really not the case. That 125 that they know that they lost, that was what they were communicated that they had lost. The others are, he's like, you know, may just be out in cyberspace somewhere, and we never know. And they're trying to do a better job on finding out why we don't win projects. But I would love to bring him in. I did talk to Courtney, and I did talk to the mayor about doing that and bringing him in just to have that presentation so that you all can better understand why we get projects, why we don't. He showcases, you know, if it's a distribution center, this is what they're looking for, workforce development. You know, so that's why the things that we're doing are so important to our strategic plan and to our community, is because we've got to focus on those buckets that the consultants and the possible businesses are looking for to come to our community. And right now, you know, retaining our businesses is our number one priority. Especially these big businesses. We've got to keep them. We've got to keep our small businesses, keep them going, keep people working there, because if we don't, then why are they going to be in our community if they can go somewhere else and there is workforce?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All righty, next up, we have a discussion about K-9 unit that we got a demonstration of tonight. I see Chief Ladwig hopping up, pretty excited about it, we all are.
Well, once again, thank you again for your time this evening. We talked a little bit earlier before the meeting and during an informal session. We have the opportunity to reestablish a K-9 program at the police department. The last working police dog we had retired in 2008, and that was Bubba. And Bubba had a very, very successful career with the police department in what he did. But Fulton, just like the rest of the nation, seeing that uptick in dangerous drugs, and our city's no exception. And unfortunately, it's resulted in some, tragic statistics just here inside our city limits. During the last 12 months, we've investigated 9 overdose deaths that were obvious overdose deaths. That doesn't include some others that, when the toxicology came back after the fact, that we learned it was due to fentanyl, heroin. And of those 9 overdose deaths, if you break that down, that's 1 every 5.7 weeks here in the city. And death notifications to a family about their child not coming back home is the toughest part of our jobs. I hate doing those. I've done way too many, and I would hope I'd never have to do another one, or any of my officers. We've responded to 52 overdose calls that have been labeled that way. That doesn't include calls that were basically overdoses during a check the well-being or check subject calls, where we find somebody that's very much impaired or incapacitated by a dangerous drug. We've served 23 narcotic search warrants with 43 persons arrested. In addition to those arrests, there have been another 64 arrests for dangerous drugs, such as methamphetamine, heroin, and fentanyl, and 2 DWI drug arrests. But that doesn't include people that may be arrested for a warrant or on another type of call where they are also found to have narcotics on them. We've also worked cases, and probably the most disturbing thing other than deaths are 18 middle school age kids that got a hold of vape pens, the little jewels that they would put on that pen that they would puff on, that were actually laced with methamphetamine and not a nicotine or tobacco product. That's tough to explain to a parent. Calloway County Sheriff's Office has had great success with the use of their canines over the last 5 years, removing dangerous drugs that are causing these issues to just proliferate. We can work towards removing these poisons from the street, and if we just save 1 life with a dog each year, and we may not know that that ever happened, it's all those instances where we deter something or maybe take something off the street that doesn't get into somebody's hands that kills them. That's a tremendous return on investment. A Fulton PD K-9 can also assist in tracking lost or endangered children or adults. They can track fleeing suspects. They can also assist in finding articles from other crimes or property from burglaries. One example is a gentleman that ran from us from behind McDonald's into the woods. We caught him, but the dog from the sheriff's office also assisted in the illegal firearm that they had possessed and got rid of while they were running away. And picking up those things and saving a kid from finding those in the woods it's tremendous too. Officer safety issues and enhancing public safety, that's what a dog will assist in and help do. The canines can also be used in public relations situations, in schools, nursing homes, at civic events, club meetings for the civic clubs in town. We do have a funding source in place to obtain a canine this year, and the amount to maintain a canine dog is about $3,300. We can shave about $800 off of that price. We have already got our first donation from Diamond Pet Foods and Mita that have gladly offered vouchers for us for a year for food for a canine. So that's tremendous as well. We had the demonstration earlier, and again, thanks to Sheriff Chisholm and Sergeant Schmidt and Canine Krieger that came earlier. You can see what those dogs can do, and you can see how sociable those dogs are. Everybody got to pet Krieger. He has a job to do, but after he's done doing his job and he gets his ball or his fire hose toy, they're very, very calm and docile animals. So, does anybody else have any questions from what we had earlier, or while the sheriff's still here?
You say you have all the financing, and that's great. When we got Bubba, it seemed like we did an adopt a canine or something.
They sold
some sort of program.
stock to get Bubba.
Right.
Yep.
So we
They
wouldn't
sold
need to
stock,
do
and that
that,
was community involvement
Right.
Oh, yeah.
in that. There are other grant programs out there that we can look at to help offset and mitigate any future costs as well. And we're, Ms. Kemper here with the city that helps with the grants, she's found some of that. We're starting to investigate those for help in the future as well.
I mean, that was a great program because it got the community.
Got the community involved. Yep. Yes, sir.
Do we have an officer that's currently trained on canine?
No, we've put out the request with our officers to have them give their letter of intent that they would like to do this. We've got 2 of those letters back. That officer would go to Boone County. Boone County Sheriff's Office has a nationally accredited program that trains these dogs. So we're very fortunate to be so close that they can go every day and they don't have to travel or stay overnight. The dogs come over and they're obtained when they're about a year and a half old. Most of the dogs are bred in Europe, like we learned earlier. Czechoslovakia, Holland, areas like that, they have health guarantees. The dog would be helped to be picked up by Deputy Smith with Boone County Sheriff's Office at Shallow Creek Kennels in Pennsylvania. He goes a few days before we would go with a handler, and he would pick out 4 or 5 good dogs that he think would be a good investment, and then he matches the dog to our handler's personality, and then the dog would come back to Missouri, stay at Boone County with Deputy Smith for approximately 4 weeks. Then after that, our officer that is chosen would go and train every day for an additional 8 weeks. And then 2 days a month after that, continuous training, which is part of the program cost.
And so what is that total first-year program cost?
It's about $20,000 first year in for the dog, the equipment, the car, dog house outside, a kennel run. Leashes, bowls. We've checked into this pretty extensively. The one thing we've also found is there's a lot of organizations and foundations out there that will help donate the vest, the ballistic vest for a dog. That includes also having with that dog a first aid kit, and say a dog got into some fentanyl, got too close. those kits would also include Narcan for a police K-9 to use, because, and that also includes veterinary care, barring any unforeseen accidents over and above normal vet care.
You know, the chief and his folks has really went and found all the costs they could identify and put together a good, complete package of costs.
But the sheriff's office has assisted us so many times with canines. Their 2 dogs do a lot of work. This will help alleviate some of their workload as well, to free them up for other things. And again, here in Fulton and Calloway County, we are so fortunate to have a sheriff's office and a municipal police department that work so well together and so closely together that a lot of areas don't have, and we have that here. And thank you very much to the sheriff, because we worked very hard at that. Chief Myers, he worked really hard at that, maintaining that relationship and the cooperation. You know, we help with Holt Summit if they need it, Highway Patrol. So the cooperation that we have through all the law enforcement in the area is just tremendous, and this will just enhance that and enhance the great things that our department already does.
I would just say a couple of things. One of my concerns was the liability part of it, and we called MIRMA. Patrick Bono from MIRMA said that that's a perfectly fine thing to do, that they do that for other cities.
They have about
They
15
cover us.
cities with a canine program, and as long as the dog has that national accreditation from Boone County, they are perfectly fine with it. There's no issues there.
And the other thing is that the biggest barrier in my mind is finding an individual that's willing to commit to this, because it's a 365-day-a-year commitment.
That's a lifelong
And to have
commitment.
2 staff that will take that on is tremendous. So we should be very thankful and grateful for that.
We have a great team in place right now. We've made some great hires over the last few years, and we have those people in place. And we're very fortunate that they love being a Fulton police officer, and this will help keep them here as well.
That's right.
Mr. Mayor.
Chief, this,
Go ahead, Mike. No, go ahead, John.
Chief, so the dog is with the handler, and Clay might be able to answer this a little bit better. The dog's with the handler 365. The handler wants to go on, is going on vacation, obviously. Maybe they take it with them, maybe they don't.
Well,
Do they go back to Columbia and spend some time in Columbia?
Deputy Smith will actually take those dogs in at a rate of $20 a night. Another dog handler or a deputy handler could also do that with his permission. We have a great animal shelter staff here as well that can do that. So we have those pieces already in place.
And then secondly, I know some people that have some pretty expensive dogs for coon dog hunting, which they have insurance on the dogs. Is there an insurance available on the dogs?
Well, the liability would be covered through MIRMA, after speaking with Mr. Bono. There is a health guarantee that comes from the kennel, at least for the first year, I do believe. But those dogs are x-rayed and scanned to make sure they do not have any signs of hip dysplasia or joint problems.
I think you're talking more about something to insure the dog if something would happen to it, right?
Something happened to it, we're in year 1, and we've just invested everything for it. Granted, we don't want to see that happen. That's not what we're looking to do. But is there anything that could be potentially done for that?
Well, I guess that's a question for Pat Bono to see if it's like any other asset of the city, just like a
Yes.
vehicle or a piece of
Yeah.
equipment, because the dog is another tool.
Yep.
What's the possibility of, well, you said you had 2 applicants, of us using both as handlers?
That is a good possibility. I would like to add a second dog because we would still have funds available for that. But I wouldn't want to do 2 in the first year.
No.
I mean, 2 handlers. 1 dog, but 2 handlers.
Well, that's very difficult to do.
Okay, I didn't know.
But say an officer decides 2 or 3 years in, I'm out, I don't want to be a policeman anymore. We've gone over that as well with Deputy Smith at Boone County. That dog can be trained with a new handler and still continue in service.
One more thing for Clay. Yes, sir. Gary requested that the dog show up at Morel's and Microbrew. Just real quick.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion, we pursue this and move forward with acquiring a K-9 for our police department.
We can do that.
Second.
I'll second that, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't necessarily need one, but I think that's appropriate, so by all means. Any other questions for Chief? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no.
I want to thank you very much, and the reason why we came to you, even though we didn't need a resolution or an ordinance,
Yeah.
I just want to communicate with you what we're doing and how we're moving forward, and just be as transparent as we can about what's going on at the police department.
Thank you.
And I thank you very much, and this will be a great thing for the city and the county.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you, Chief.
You betcha.
Thank you, Clay, and your staff.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Okay, next up, council concerns. I'll start to my left, Councilman West.
I don't really have a concern, but I wanted to echo what the chief said. I talked to the sheriff, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and asked him what kind of relationship we had, and he echoed the same thing. He said we have a great relationship, and I think that's wonderful. So thank you very much to both departments.
Very well. Councilman Simmons.
I brought this up at the last meeting, I just want to bring it up again. Second Street work, it is very disruptive, and it's probably the most disruptive work we have, even from what we did on Business 54. I know we've done a lot of work talking to the local people, but that's a high-traffic area. We need to get the information out to all the people in town, what's going on, why it's going on, when it's going on.
Timeline.
Yeah, timeline. I know that's tough to do, but I think we need to make the effort, especially when we start taking the bridge apart.
I'm glad you
And
brought
it's
that up.
all, and it's totally closed.
Yeah, can we get a press release or something? I'd like to share it out at the plant, you know.
Yeah, Kyle isn't here tonight, but
No.
we can certainly try to step up that program a little bit on the information side.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Very welcome. Thank you.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Councilman Stone?
Just a thank you to the engineer and the street department. There's been some street work done on Sign Painter Road near the intersection of Hospital Drive. A lot of improvement and replacement there over the last few weeks when we've had the warmer weather. And so just a big thank you. That's been an area that's needed the improvement for the past few years, and we're seeing it done. So
Very good. Thanks for the shout out there. I probably don't get that. Councilman Brown?
I just have one thing, I'm kind of on Ballard, what he was saying about Second Street. I came through there last night, and there was a vendor, outside company working on the street on the eastbound side, and when I came through the first time, they had flaggers. I came through the second time, there was no flaggers. They really need to have flaggers working. If they're working and they're slowing up traffic, they need to have flaggers. So if we could get with Kyle on that, that would be
I don't know if that's in their contract.
It's highway work. Well, gotta be in their contract.
Some of the workers that's been out there is like AT&T and,
Yeah.
you know, the cable companies and stuff, and they're looking at potholing and seeing where they got to move their own stuff. So per se, we don't have a contract with them. They're doing work in conjunction with the city's work. And they are on the right-of-way, so I agree with John there, that if they're on the right-of-way, we can tell them.
When we're in the street. Their vehicles were parked in the street, limiting it to one lane of traffic.
And we have,
Flaggers should be had.
and we have talked to the county, and Gary has said we could borrow one of their signs to put out there for information on the road there.
That's a good idea, Darryl, yeah.
So we're going to try that sign too. I understand you want something else with it.
Yeah, well, I'd like to put it in the plant newsletters and things like that. 'Cause
Correct.
we got a lot of people coming in. So.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
The Fulton Sun, you know, it needs to be up,
Right.
has constant information about what's going on, our Facebook page, all the other stuff that I don't know anything about.
But to John's comment, you know, if we have a utility crew out there moving water line, and we got the lane shut down. Do we have to have a flagger?
Should.
John's saying yes, so,
We should.
I don't know what the rules are, but.
We have had flaggers out there this week.
Yes,
Yeah.
they were
Yeah.
out here. 'cause I-
Yeah, they were there the first time I came by.
I saw them once when I went through.
And then the second time I came by, they weren't there, but they were continuing to work.
I don't think I recall a lot of flagger action going on in a lot of city streets
No.
that we do. any other
Normally, no, I
projects,
don't
but
either.
That's a pretty busy thoroughfare, so. yeah, We'll try to see if we can step that up a little bit, guys. Thank you. Councilman Braun, or Combs, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've had a couple people reach out recently, especially with the weather getting nicer, over on Coates and Destin with the traffic amount that's walking up and down the road. Not that that's an issue, but with the road being used very heavily by the fire department and the police department, I was actually concerned with some kids one day playing in the road and saw a couple cops headed somewhere they needed to be. And it's like, if those kids are still in the road, there's a chance there's going to be an issue. And so I don't know what can be done. Not that it's any one, like it's not like on the cops or the fire department, that's their road to use, but there's not sidewalks, there's not anywhere for these kids and other walkers to be. I know it's been a long time coming for sidewalks over there, and it's been debated before, but, so yeah, it's just one of those things that's, as the weather gets more, there's more families, more kids, more whatever walking out there, and kind of an issue.
Yeah, it's a tight corridor through there.
It is.
Very good. We'll be thinking about that, Chief. That may be something y'all can talk about.
Yeah.
Councilman Washington.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I've been approached, the flags, I think it's utility, the waters, they have the water markers by the water meters. Is that for just identification? They wanted to know, they said, can they pull them or
Yes,
do they
can
leave
pull
them?
them. We put them out there, one, for when the snow happened, and two, we've got new meter readers that's trying to find the route to pull the
Okay,
snow.
so they can pull,
Yes,
they were
yes, sir.
asking, they like, they didn't know what to do. And so I said, well, check it, I think you
They're
can pull
right by the
them.
water meters, right?
Yeah, right by the
Yeah.
water meters,
Yeah.
the water meters. Yeah. Yeah.
When we
Thank
had
you.
those Thursday snows, we marked some of them ahead of time so we could try to read those meters with those new,
So they can pull them and
Yes,
go ahead
sir.
and cut, mow the lines and stuff like that.
yes, sir.
We may have another snow, though. We're in Missouri.
Yeah, fuck.
It's in the forecast for Thursday again.
I know, another Thursday.
It'll, yeah. next
Thank
year.
you, that's it. They were just
Are you
asking.
kidding me?
Very good. Councilwoman Nelson.
I know that the city started a program with curb repair where city will pay half, homeowner pays half. Is that correct?
Sidewalks.
Sidewalks?
Sidewalks. Okay, not curbs.
Right.
Okay,
No.
okay.
Yeah.
I
And we
think-
do have some participation in that.
Yes, we do.
I
I
don't
think
think
the
we
city,
ever hit our maximum budget, though. Do we ever hit that?
I don't
Rarely.
think if we have, it's been just one
It's
year
pretty
out
well
of three.
utilized, but I think it's been a little bit since we've hit that max
No.
threshold.
No.
But I will
Is
say
it per
it's
individual, or do so many people like in the area have to,
That's
Nope,
per individual.
individual.
individual? Okay.
The city furnishes the concrete, and they have people furnish the labor, or how's,
other way around.
other way around? City furnishes the labor and you buy the concrete.
I don't remember. It's half.
It's
though.
one, yeah, because it has, yeah.
That's what I remember Bill always saying.
Yours was the other way. Oh,
We
I
did,
thought the
we
other
did the
way.
labor
provide
and
the
they
labor,
pay for the
we do
concrete.
Okay. So I
Your
have that.
portion.
Okay.
Yeah, there's plenty of that can be done, though, so if any citizens are out there and see a need in their yard or their sidewalk, by all means, get in touch with the city and we'll work with them and try to get that taken care of.
I wasn't sure. I was that backward.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Nelson, do you have an area where somebody has a curb that needs to be?
So out in Tanglewood, we have a lot of people that are complaining about the curbs.
Ours too.
And I just wanted to let them know, I thought that it was curbs and sidewalks. So,
Sidewalks just.
you know, it's been addressed at our HOA a lot. That, like, I know my house in particular, there's probably at least 50% of the houses on the streets that the curbs are broken.
I think that we just need to contact Kyle and the street department, and they deal with it. That's
And
what
I
I've
think
seen-
that,
that's what
I
I've
think
seen in
people
my
would be
neighborhood.
willing to split the difference. I just want to give the right information.
That's not a bad thought, because what a citizen may think is awful may be acceptable on the city behalf.
Right.
So, yeah, there could be
There's
that
some that are pretty.
understanding maybe.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
They
We can
get, sometimes
definitely
get hit
talk
with the
about
snow.
it.
Yeah, that sounds
plow.
Oh,
great.
the snow plow.
Snow plows
They
get
can't
them, I
help it,
think.
yeah. Ours are that way too.
Mr. Mayor, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Around the roundabout and heading towards West Lakes, we have big trucks. There's a big chunks out of the concrete there. And if somebody have a blown tire because they turning or something, yeah, I guess that's your fault. Anyway,
Yeah.
it just seems like, is that going to be repaired, or is that something that we just have to live with? or what?
We fixed that curb before. It
I
seems
know,
like
it just
that
the trucks
happens.
keeps on,
Yeah.
the big trucks, I know.
Yeah.
So if we put spikes on
We
it.
can definitely try to fix it, have it fixed again, though, but yeah, it seems like
It's an
it's just we
ongoing
fix it
thing.
and it just goes right back.
Yeah.
Or do something different.
I can bet you that if they're taking the concrete out like that, they're losing a tire.
Yeah,
They know they've hit it.
Not-
I guarantee
big
you.
old post.
We can have Kyle take a look at it, though.
Yeah, Kyle missed out tonight, didn't
He did. He's gonna have a lot to be caught up on.
Well,
he? Yeah, we'll get with him on that too. So we do not have resolutions or ordinances tonight, so we'll do our announcements. Madam Clerk, if you would, please.
Sure. Election Day is Tuesday, April 5th, 2022. Polls open 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. The 21st Annual Clean Sweep will be held on Saturday, April 9th, 2022. To register, please contact Parks and Recreation at 573-592-3190. The next City Council meeting will be held Tuesday, April 12th at 6:30 p.m. There will not be a work session due to the installation of newly elected officials. And Spring Cleanup Week will take place April 11th through the 15th along regular pickup routes. No construction debris or tires will be accepted. Please contact the Solid Waste Department with questions at 573-592-3176.
Very good. We do not have a need for executive session tonight. I would entertain
Second.
motion and second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Yeehaw.